Shalom. First off, I'd like to give all the praise and all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect around the four corners of the earth that are making their calling and election sure. This your brother Yah Nakar coming back at you again in the spirit with another lesson. All right, going into never trust this devil. Never trust your enemy. All right. Time after time, he has showed us that he's that guy. He has shown us that he is not with making you equal to him. All right. This devil know that he's in the power seat. He know that this is his kingdom. Why would he share his crown with his servants? That doesn't make sense. All right. So time after time, this devil has lied to our people. All right, he fed you dreams. He fed you fantasy. All right, he did this with the Native Americans. He made treaty after treaty and broke every one of them. All right, this is nothing new. That's why we constantly go into the scripture and say, "Never trust thy enemy." All right. All right, and this going into the 40 acres and a mule that this devil was supposed to give these freed black men, all right, on the southeast. All right. And this actually happened in Savannah, Georgia. All right. And the brothers always are at camp right by the river in Savannah, Georgia. All right. Right where the slave boats came in at. We constantly out there beside the waving girl, going into these different atrocities that this so-called white man has done. All right. And this is one of them. The short-lived promise of 40 acres and a mule. All right. And what you see on this caption right here, you see the so-called white man and the so-called black man going at odds. All right. They have picked up arms against each other. All right. As the Civil War was ending, recently freed black people were promised land to start independent lives. But Lincoln's assassination led to the plan's demise. Yeah, because when Lincoln was assassinated, all right, the president that came after him, Johnson, all right, he changed everything. All right. He changed everything. He wasn't with giving you so-called black people free land. All right. He wasn't with making you equal to him. He wanted to keep you as obedient obedient servants. All right. Indentured servants. All right. So he did not want to make you equal to him. All right. That's like you. All right, getting into the article. After meeting with the 20 ministers, Sherman signed Field Order 15 on January 16th, 1865. The order will reserve 400,000 acres of Confederate land for members of the formerly enslaved population. When the land near the southeast coast was evenly redistributed, each family would have 40 acres of tillable ground. Union generals are attempting to divide these slave plantations into small farm settlements and make them available to the newly freed slaves. You see? And that's what that's the idea, that's the lie that they was pushing to the so-called black people, to get them to calm down, to get them to believe that they was going to get a chance at being equal, that they was going to get their own piece of the pie, their own corner in the world. No mention of mules appear in the order, but some of the formerly enslaved populations were granted army mules, resulting in this reparations program being widely known as 40 acres and a mule. The freemen set The freedmen set out to begin working their new land immediately, with a group of 1,000 settling on Georgia's Skidaway Island. And subsequently, months as many as 40,000 freed settled on the redisputed land. All right, and if you want to know where Skidaway Island is, that's on the way to going to Tybee Island. All right, and that's right down from the University of Savannah State. All right, they were able to parcel it out to some of the former slaves, but for the most part, this dream was never realized. Grimm says, promise is rescinded after Lincoln's death. The government didn't keep its promise of 40 acres and a mule following President Abraham Lincoln's assassination on April 15, 1865. President Andrew Johnson rescinded Field Order 15 and returned to Confederate owners the 400,000 acres of land, a strip of coastline stretching from Charleston, South Carolina, to the St. Johns River in Florida, including Georgia's Sea Islands and the mainland's 30 miles in from the coast. All right. After the Civil War, After the Civil War, there just wasn't that appetite for black reparations, Brooks says. There were other proposals made after the war for reparations for African Americans. Congress declined to go forward with reparations, so it was not just Johnson. There was an attitude among the congregation that African Americans should simply be happy with being freed. African Americans forced to work as sharecroppers, and as you can see, you see some so-called black people in the fields being sharecroppers, all right, in Georgia. Without land of their own to work, the 3.9 million members of the formerly enslaved population struggled to control their own destiny after the Civil War ended. Many found themselves working white people's land as sharecroppers or tenant farmers, a system that was only slightly better than slavery. Only slightly better than slavery. So they didn't get rid of slavery. They just made you a more willing worker. All right, they made you a more willing worker. They made you an indentured servant. All right, given the meager wages and exploitation associated with it, you had a massive system of sharecropping evolving in the South in the aftermath of blacks not being able to acquire the land that they thought the federal government was going to make available to them, Grimm says. In the case of the sharecropper, you did it so that you could get a share of the crop, which rarely was shared with black people when all cost of production had taken place. So once again, you have Esau Edom, the so-called white man, lying and making deals and going back on them. Some black people defeated the odds and merged to become landowners. Most, however, had no land to pass on, which prevented them from accumulating multi-generational wealth and left them largely under the control of the southern white landowners. The failed promise of 40 acres and a mule denied African Americans the ability to generate financial self-sufficiency, which was needed in order to resist as much as possible the Jim Crow policies of the local government in the South, Brooks says. It would have provided a very timely reparation for African Americans, which would have changed the course of racial history. It would have changed the trajectory of racial inequality in our society. All right, but that just go to show you that this devil was not going to let you get above him. He was not going to let you be equal to him. All right, he's going to lie. He's going to sell you a dream. All right, and that's what our people, they have failed hook, line, and sinker every time for this devil lies, for his deceit. All right, but we are not falling for that. All right, we don't want reparations. We don't want your 40 acres and a mule. All right, we want you. All right, just like you got servants, we want servants. Just like you've been on top, we want to be on top, but we want to rule forever. All right, Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So is his wickedness. You see? And this is wicked right here. This is wicked right here. Lying to someone, promising them 400,000 acres of land. All right, you even writing the terms up, okay, putting it into order 15, and you go back on that order. All right, that's you and your wickedness, man. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. You see, his rust has not all been wiped away. All right, because soon as Andrew Johnson got into office, what did he do? All right, he rescinded his offer. He took it away. He put you people back into slavery. And that's what this devil is trying to do with his MOTB. He's trying to put you back into slavery. That's why you see the dollar crashing. That's why you see this devil sitting up his digital currency, because he's trying to put you back in that servitude state where all you doing is working and looking up and dropping your head and working more. All right, you're not going to ever get to be equal to this devil. The only thing that you should be hoping for is Yahweh Shah coming back. All right, the seeing our King coming back. All right, Sirach 12 and 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. All right. Hey, and that's what he done. All right. He sat with us. He made these different treaties. All right. These different orders. And he went back on every one of them. All right. He came talking smoothly. All right. To get you in a place where he can take your spot. And he did that in Israel. All right. He took our land in Israel and said he was the people. All right. And that's what this devil is doing. He's been lying. He's been deceiving all around the four corners of the earth and accusing us like we the bad people, accusing us that we the wicked on the earth. The whole time, this is the devil that the Bible has spoken of. All right. Sirach 12 and 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? You see? So who is going to pity a charmer that was bitten by a serpent? All right, these so-called black people was bitten by a serpent because you fell for his propaganda. You fell for his lies. All right, and where did it get you at? All right, where did it get you at? Back in the fields, back to being sharecroppers. All right, back to working and putting money in bags with holes in it. All right, never ever being able to get ahead. All right. Sirach 12 and 14. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. You see? An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. And that's what happened to our people, man. Hey, he spoke sweetly with his lips, but the whole time he was throwing you into a pit. You really thought that you was gonna get 40 acres and a mule? You really thought that you was gonna get 400,000 acres of land? No, man. And then you thought that you was gonna get oceanfront property? All right, that devil was not giving that up. The whole time he was thinking of a way to further put you into hardcore captivity. All right. Sirach 12:16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. You see, so he pretended to help these people to get these 40 acres and a mule. And what he did, he undermined them. All right. He said that he didn't think that blacks should have land. He thought that they should just be happy being free. Wow. He thought that they should just be happy being free. But how are you free? You don't own anything. All right. You don't have generational wealth to pass on to your family. All right. You are losing. This truth is all we have. This knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the faith and the belief in Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah, is all we have. All right. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. All right. And that's what he did when Andrew Johnson got to be president. What he did, he changed his countenance. All right. He clapped his hand. He shook his head like, nah, you Negroes are not getting no 400,000 acres of land. All right. Be happy that you're free. And our people, they keep falling for these lies. They keep falling for this deceit of this damn devil. All right. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. You see? And that's what this devil is doing, man. All right? You can be everything on this planet, but you cannot be a Hebrew Israelite. You so-called blacks, you so-called Native Americans, and you so-called Latinos. And you cannot be equal to the so-called white man. All right? That is not going to happen. He's going to come with those sweet words. You see Joe Biden on television coming those sweet words. But just before he was elected, he was calling your children little cockroaches. All right? Your little niggas, man. All right? Locking up your sons and your daughters in these prison camps. All right? Passing laws to put you further and further into the prison correctional centers. All right? Psalms 55:22. Cast thy burden upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. And that's what we want. We want to put our trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We're not following after these lies and this deceit of the so-called white man. All right? We're not getting duped. We're not falling for your tricks and your your deception. All right? We know that you are the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right? You never did anything for the so-called blacks, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Hispanics, all right, the Latinos, unless it was something that you was trying to prosper out of them, something that you was benefiting from, all right, like your basketball players, your singers, your rappers, your your football players, your baseball players, your soccer players. You was benefiting off the backs of these so-called blacks, these so-called Native Americans, and these so-called Latinos. That's the only way you drop some crumbs in the bucket for them. All right? Because LeBron James was saying he made, Nike made $40 billion in 1 year. But you only gave him $1 billion over a lifetime? That's crumbs. That's crumbs. So how is that being equal? How is that being that you're trying to give us any type of reparations, any type of chance? No, man, this devil don't give a damn about you so-called blacks, you so-called Native Americans, you Latinos. So the best thing you can do is put your trust in Yahweh Shema Shah and keep pushing and keep believing the gospel, the good news. Because that's the only way that we're going to get out of these coming calamities. All right? That's the only way that we're going to outwit this damn devil, is by putting our trust in Yahweh Shema Shah. The scriptures say whoever trusted in Yahweh Shema Shah and was ashamed. Nobody. All right? He's going to be there for us. We're not going to have to deal with the devil telling us, oh, he's going to give us 40 acres and a mule. No, we want the whole world. All right? We want the whole world. And Yahweh Shema Shah has promised that to us. And he's not a man that he should lie. So we're going to get that promise. All right? So with that, I'm going to end off by giving all the praise and all the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect around the four corners of the earth that are making their calling and election sure. Shalom.